Hello, my strong friend. Welcome back to the third video of my Zero to Platform series. If you're new to this channel, my name is Meg or Meg Squats, and I am an elite powerlifter and I'm a strength coach. And this series intends to prepare you or any first-time competitors to get ready to get to the platform, starting from absolutely no knowledge of the sport of powerlifting. If you haven't yet had a chance to check out the first two videos, make sure to click the link in the description of this box and you can check those out and kind of get, the first and second lessons. This video is all about reasons lifters fail in a meet. Now, this will not include strength fails, obviously. If you load something on the bar and you're not strong enough to pick it up, obviously you're gonna fail that lift. This is gonna be more about the technical fails regarding calls from judges in powerlifting meets. So in my opinion, this is a really important topic in a lifter's preparation to getting on the platform. You need to understand the technical standards of each lift, and by doing that, you're ensuring that 100% of your training lifts are in compliance with those standards, and being prepared for those standards are going to be setting you up to hit the biggest numbers you can on the platform come meet day. The most common mistake that we see novice competitors make across all three lifts is a failure to wait and comply with the judge's commands for those three lifts. If you didn't know already, there will be a front judge and then two side judges who decide whether or not the lifter has met all federation standards. Now, when you're breaking down each lift, we'll take a moment to go over these particular commands, then dive into other common reasons for failure. This list isn't exhaustive and it'll also be based on the IPF or USAPL standards, but it'll be a good overview of common mistakes that we see across all federations. I recommend reviewing your Fed's rulebook prior to competition to best understand your particular needs and that federation's particular standards. So first we're going to start with the squat and those commands. Now, these are relatively simple. There's only two, and the first one is squat, and that signals that the lifter can begin the movement. And then rack is given at the completion of the repetition. That informs the lifter to then return the barbell back to the squat rack. Do note that there is no command given to unrack the barbell initially, and that a lifter can do this at their own pace. From the time the judge announces that the bar is loaded, the lifter has 1 minute to receive the squat command. Now, 1 minute may not seem like that long, but trust me, there's ample time there, and there's no need to rush. Beyond failing to obey the commands, the most common reason for a technical miss in powerlifting competition is for not reaching adequate depth in the squat. Adequate depth means that the crease of the hip needs to sit below the horizontal plane made by the top of the knee. While there can be some inconsistencies in judging, we always recommend that lifters squat to depth beyond a reasonable doubt in training so that they're never caught off guard in a competition setting. Failing to meet depth will be denoted by judges with a red flag. In addition to the more popular depth standard, common mistakes causing lifters to fail in a meet include the following. The first one could be any foot movement after the squat and before the rack commands are given. This could mean any lateral, forward, or backward step, and it doesn't just refer to stumbling. If you start to rack the bar before the command is given, you will fail the rep. The second one is any downward motion of the bar. If at any point during the upwards portion of the lift, the bar starts to lower, the lift is technically no good, even if the lifter saves it. This rule also applies to any double bouncing in the squat. The third is failure to lock out your knees or hips at completion of the rep. Even if you stand all the way up, the rep won't count in a meet unless your knees and hips are locked out. Soft knees here at the completion of the rep will be red lighted, and you'll sometimes see lifters fail to receive the squat command because of not having their knees and hips locked out at the start. And the last one is any contact of the upper arms or elbows to your legs. This is kind of deemed to the judges to be a supportive technique. While incidental contact isn't necessarily an immediate disqualification, any contact that is deemed supportive can be flagged as a no lift. Rather than leave this to the discretion of the judges, we recommend avoiding any of this contact altogether in training or obviously on the platform as well. All right, now we're moving on to the bench press. This one's a little bit more complicated of the 3 lifts because there are 3 commands here. There's start, which indicates to the lifter that they are able to begin their rep. Press is given once the bar rests motionless on the chest, and that lets the lifter know that they can begin pushing up the bar. And then there's rack, which is given at the lockout, indicating that the lifter can return the bar to the rack. Even after obeying all these commands, there are still a number of other reasons lifters fail lifts in a meet that we want to avoid. The first thing to look out for is failure to lock out the bar. Keep in mind that the rep isn't over until your elbows are fully locked out and the rack command is given. The second is any downward movement of the entire bar. Some federations used to have a rule where the lockout was required of both arms simultaneously, but feds have recently allowed some asymmetric lockouts. Given this rule, it's possible to see a dip in one side of the bar, and that kind of accompanies an uneven lockout, and that's all within a legal rep. The rep will not be overruled here unless the entire bar descends. So this applies to any sink or heave where the bar descends after the press command. The third one is your head, shoulders, or butt losing contact with the bench. Any change in the lifter's elected position during the lift will result in a no lift. Some federations, including the USAPL, require contact between a lifter's head and the bench throughout the whole rep, where other federations don't. The last one is any instance of feet or just one foot lifting off of the floor. During the press, the lifter's feet must remain on the floor. The USAPL requires that the entire foot must be flat on the floor, and that's as flat as the shape of the shoe allows, but other feds allow you to bench with your heels up. So foot movement in the USAPL is permissible as long as the foot remains completely flat on the floor. Like the head position, rules on foot placement vary from fed to fed, so make sure you're double checking your rule books and figure out how you can position your feet and what those standards are. Okay, and finally for my favorite lift, we have the deadlift. This is the easiest one. There's only one command where the center judge calls down to inform the lifter that the rep is complete and they may lower the bar to the ground. There's no start command, so the lifter can begin the rep at any point after the judge announces that the bar is loaded, of course within their 1 minute window. The lifter must wait until the down command is given to lower the bar, or else they'll get some red lights. Beyond missing that down command, there are a number of other reasons lifters may fail a deadlift in a meet. The first is failure to stand erect at the lockout. Full lockout is achieved when the lifter's shoulders are back, their hips are forward, and their knees are straight. Second is any downward movement of the bar. Any downward movement of the bar before it reaches that lockout will result in a no lift or some red lights. The third is supporting the bar on the thighs. Any lift where the judges deem that the bar is supported by the thighs as it ramps up the legs on the way up may be ruled invalid. This rule also applies to any hitching where the knees are locked and unlocked in attempt to squat the bar up. Next, we have any foot movement before the down command is given. So any step forward, backward, or laterally before you hear that down command will result in a red light. Movement is allowed after the down command is given, where you might see some sumo deadlifters with a really wide stance rotate their toes inwards after that down command is given to avoid dropping the bar on their feet. And the next is lowering the bar without control. So after you hear the down command, you have to lower the bar with both hands using some control. The worst way to miss a lift is to hear the down command, everything be good, and then a lifter just drops it or loses control or loses their grip. Make sure that you're holding tight throughout the entire downward movement of the barbell. Alright, and that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the explanations of how you can screw up your lifts at a meet. Hopefully this will be a good lesson to teach you how not to do it and what to look out for. Again, always check out your federation's rule book, because the rules do differ depending on if you compete USAPL or USPA or whatever federation you may choose. If that doesn't make sense to you, make sure to check out the previous videos so you learn about federations. You can learn about other things to look out for when getting ready, when going from zero to platform, which is what this series is all about. Make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it or found any of this information helpful. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I post videos weekly about powerlifting and other strong things. So yeah, come and join and be a strong friend. If you really like this and want to support me and this channel, check out our merch on strongfriends.com. Or if you need even more help getting zero to platform ready, we do have peaking program options or 12-week strength programs that are customized to you, and you can check those out, or check out our free programs. Those are also there for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.